Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Daniel Bartholomew, and this is Sociology 2301, Social Problems. The purpose of this video is to introduce you to our Blackboard course website. Since this is a 5-week intensive online course, it is important that you understand how to navigate Blackboard, where you can find the content for each week, where you can find the different assignments you'll be completing, so on and so forth. So this video, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown. If you ever have any questions about anything pertaining to the course, if you're having difficulty accessing a link to a reading or a video, if you can't find a link for an assignment that's due, if anything is broken or not seeming to work properly the way you think it should, please do not hesitate to shoot me an email. I do a pretty good job of checking those frequently and getting back to students as soon as possible. So when you log on to your Blackboard personal website or course page through TAMUCC using your TAMUCC email address and password, you will locate our course, which is again SOCI 2301 W01 for Summer Session 1. You'll click on our course website link and it should direct you to the welcome page on the course. This welcome page, I just offer some general information about how the course website is organized, some important links that you might want to look at. I'm not going to read through this verbatim. You can do that on your own time. But the thing I do want to point out from here is that on the left-hand side, hopefully you're somewhat familiar with Blackboard by this point, but you will see all of these tabs for different links and features that are available to us through Blackboard. Now, we won't use a lot of these, and I will go through and delete some of the ones that we won't be using at all just to make it a little more simplistic and easy to navigate. But a few important tabs that you should be familiar with, first and foremost, is the Syllabus tab. Now, I already emailed out the syllabus to those of you who are at least enrolled in the course as of last week. But if you did not get that email or you weren't able to look through the syllabus yet, I would definitely recommend starting off doing that first thing first. As I mentioned in my previous email, the syllabus for this course is quite long. It's many pages, and that is intentional. I believe, like I said before, in complete transparency in my teaching, so I provide a lot of detailed information in my syllabus so you can know exactly what to expect from me, exactly what to expect from this course. All of the assignments and their deadlines that we'll be completing for this entire course are provided in the syllabus, descriptions of what those assignments are, etc. So it is lengthy. It does take some time to get through. It's not a document that you should just quickly skim over and expect to do well in this course. A lot of important information is provided in that syllabus. Especially since this is a 5-week summer course, we are going to be moving quick. We are going to cover a lot of information in not a lot of time. So it's very important that y'all stay on top of your deadlines, that you do not miss any assignments, because if you just fall off the face of the earth for a week and miss 1 week of this course, that's comparatively the same as missing 3 entire weeks of a regular fall or spring course. So you really do need to stay dedicated, stay responsible in this class. So read through the syllabus. That's the first thing you should do in this course. Then if you hit the course content tab, this is where you will find all of the content that we will be working with in this course. So everything from your exams, which are already provided in this folder here, this Solving Social Problems infographic, which is going to be your final project for this class. I've got the information provided for that already from day one. And then you'll also see the weekly content folders here. Now, I've only posted content for the first 2 weeks of this course intentionally, because I don't want people to be trying to breeze through all 5 weeks of content and just doing the bare minimum. So I am going to kind of pace those out. You'll see the content for week 3 coming up within the next several days, week 4 probably sometime next week, so on and so forth. So the first thing you'll want to do is go ahead and click on week 1 content. Don't worry about exams and the Solving Social Problems infographic right now. We'll talk more about those as they come up in future weeks. But for week 1, and for every week in this course, when you click on the content folder for that week, the first thing you'll see listed in there is a to-do list. So every week, I give you a step-by-step breakdown of all of the things that you need to accomplish or achieve by the end of that week. Now, week 1 is pretty heavy because we have a little extra work to do in terms of going over the syllabus, getting to know one another a little bit. So there's a few extra assignments this week that you won't have in following weeks. So just know that week 1 is going to be a heavy workload. There's going to be a little extra work to do. And unfortunately, it's a little bit of a shorter week since we're coming right off of the Memorial Day weekend and not starting classes until Tuesday. So just mentally prepare yourself. Don't panic. It's not going to be this labor intensive every week, I promise. So the first thing you can see on the to-do list for week 1, like I mentioned, is read through the syllabus. Once you've read through the syllabus, there's also a quiz for you to complete on the syllabus. So the syllabus quiz is about 20 questions, multiple choice, true and false, that just basically assess how much information you took out of that syllabus. Did you actually read through it? Do you know what the deadlines are for assignments? Do you know different aspects of this course that are all heavily or clearly outlined in the syllabus? So this particular syllabus quiz is an extra credit assignment. So in that sense, it is optional. If you do have a really busy week this particular week and you don't think you have time to do additional assignments, you don't need to do this, but it is worth up to 10 points of extra credit. So kind of a nice way to start off this semester with some extra credit points, a little extra cushioning. And also with this particular syllabus quiz, I allow you to retake it as many times as you want. And so only your highest score will actually count towards your extra credit. So if you take it the first time and you only get 6.5 points out of 10, you can retake it again, and if on your second attempt you end up getting a perfect 10 out of 10, you will get the full 10 extra credit points added to your final grade in this class. So the syllabus quiz, if you choose to complete it, must be completed by this Thursday, June 3rd. So you only get a few days to get this done, so keep that in mind. The next thing I encourage you all to do, number 3 on our to-do list here, is to complete the introduction discussion post for this class. So this introduction discussion post, which you can access by simply clicking here, is just basically an opportunity for us to get to know a little bit one another in this online learning environment. So we're not meeting face-to-face, we're not going to be meeting via WebEx asynchronously, not required to do that in this course at all. So I want to still provide people an opportunity to get to know each other a little bit so we can establish some sense of community, because you will be doing a lot of weekly discussion posts in this online course, and I think it's helpful to kind of understand who people are and more importantly where they come from, especially as we're talking about social problems. We'll understand using our sociological minds that people come from different cultures, from different lived experiences, and you can really learn a lot from one another. So this is another extra credit opportunity, but it's a pretty easy way to make an additional 10 extra credit points. If you just click on that introduction discussion post link in the first week content folder and then hit create thread, you will see a list of questions that I'm asking you to write your responses to. So pretty straightforward, what's your name, your major in college, concerns about the course, etc. Again, just a pretty simple way for us to get to know each other a little bit better. So you can type up your response to this post here, click submit, and if you answer all 6 of those questions that are provided in the prompt, you can earn an additional 10 extra credit points. You'll see I already posted my introduction discussion post. Mine is pretty long. Yours doesn't need to be as long as mine. I just go into a little bit more detail in case it's the first time you've had me as a professor, so you can get to know me a little bit better. So, first 2 things on your to-do list, major assignments, are the syllabus quiz and the introduction discussion post. Again, those are both extra credit, so they are optional in that regard. But if you complete both of them, you have the opportunity to start off this course with 20 points of extra credit. So, pretty good opportunity to get a head start on this class. So let me go ahead and go back to our course content, back into our week 1 content folder. The 4th item on our to-do list for this week is to view and read the content and lecture videos for modules 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. So in each weekly content folder, you will see that I organize the readings and the videos, the content that we're going to view that week, thematically into what I call modules. So for instance, this week our very first module, number 1.1, is about the theme of understanding bias. Module 1.2 is an introduction to social problems. And module 1.3 is a discussion of systems of privilege and oppression. So if you click on each of these modules, you'll see that there's a variety of content included in each of them. I try not to just post readings on top of readings. I incorporate a lot of videos into our weekly content lectures. So if you're not someone that learns really well from simply reading things, if you're more of an audiovisual person, you'll definitely have a lot of video opportunities to engage with the content as well. Oftentimes in these modules, I also try to incorporate at least one activity of sorts or exercise so you can kind of get a hands-on application. I know a lot of people also learn really well from more hands-on things, applying things to real-world settings instead of just reading about vague concepts in textbooks. So I incorporate a lot of activities. Typically, they're the first thing listed in the module, not always though. So the first activity you have this week is completing something called the implicit association test in module 1.1, and I provide some instructions on how to complete that particular activity here. So read through the modules in the order that they're listed. So starting with 1.1, then going into 1.2, you'll see you have another activity listed in 1.2, a little video to start things off, some readings, and then a few more videos here as well. So the last piece of content in each module folder for each week will be my lecture videos. So I post short 15-minute or less snippets of videos, typically anywhere from 2 to 5 of those in each module folder, and that kind of is the lecture component of this course. So while we're not meeting in a classroom where I can lecture face-to-face, I did record my lectures for the PowerPoint slides that I'm presenting on these various topics, and I provide those here to you as well. So in these lecture videos at the end of each module folder, I try and kind of summarize the main ideas, concepts, and topics that were covered in the various readings and videos that I asked you to view for that particular module. So if you have a week again where you're really busy and you know you're not going to have a lot of time to do really deep, intense readings for all of the assigned readings for a week, the main thing I would stress that you focus on are these lecture videos at the bottom of each module content folder, because that is going to be the best kind of overall summary of the content for that particular module. So again, week 1, you have 3 different modules to complete. After that, the next criteria on your to-do list here is to take notes and write down any questions you have. So while you're working through the content each week, I strongly encourage you to do what I call active reading. And that means you're not just passively skimming through the content or kind of half-assed listening to the videos in the background. Be engaged with the content, take notes, write down questions or ideas that pop into your mind as you're reading through this content and watching these particular videos. There's a lot of science on learning that proves that when you're actively engaged with the reading, specifically by note-taking and commenting and kind of reflective journaling through the process, you actually learn and retain a lot more information. So I strongly encourage you to actively read and view the content each week. Once you've taken down your notes, reviewed the notes that you've taken throughout the content for that week, I would encourage you to review the guidelines and grading rubric for your weekly discussion post. So I've included that here. Your weekly discussion posts are your major assignment every week. They're worth 50 points, so they are worth a lot of points. And I have a very, very clear grading rubric that I use when I'm grading those, and I provide that to you in this particular link here. So review the grading rubric and guidelines for the weekly discussion posts. I use what I call the 5 C's when I'm grading your initial educated opinion post and when I'm grading your comments. And again, all of the information about how to complete this weekly discussion post assignment is provided both in this handout here as well as in the syllabus. The answer is almost always in the syllabus. That's why it's so long. So review those guidelines and then click on this link for the week 1 discussion post. Similar to the introduction discussion post, you will click create thread, and you will see that I provide several different questions or prompts for you to consider when you are writing your educated opinion post. You do not need to reply to all 5 or however many questions or prompts I provide for that week. I just provide several of them so you can read through them and pick at least 2 of them that are most interesting to you and reflect on those for your initial educated opinion post. So again, you don't need to respond to all 5 of these. In fact, you would not be able to respond to all 5 and still keep your EOP under 400 words, which is what I encourage. Again, your EOP needs to be at least 300 words. So 300 to 400 words is kind of that sweet spot we're looking for. Excuse me, it needs to be, yes, 300 words. I stand corrected. needs to be 300 words. So keep that in mind as you're writing up your responses. Make sure you cover the 5 C's, which are outlined in the guidelines and grading rubric for your weekly discussion post, and you will be in good shape. So I believe that is it for week 1. You have to write your initial discussion educated opinion post by this Thursday, as it's stated here, number 7 on our to-do list, June 3rd, and you need to complete your week 1 discussion comments by Saturday, June 5th by 11:59 p.m. As always, reach out to me with any questions or concerns. I look forward to getting to know you all. Have a great week.